Sometimes I feel like when choosing your brand's color palette, we all just kind of went with the color that was our favorite. So you'll notice a lot of women have colors that are pink or reds because that's your favorite color. But there's so much more that should be going into determining the color palette of your brand. So let's dive into understanding how to select your brand color palette with a little bit of guidance. Hey guys, my name is Anna Gogo. I'm the founder and creative director here at Adode Media, which is a full service digital marketing, content creation, media company based here in Atlanta, Georgia. And oftentimes I'm met with clients who seem a little unsure as to how they want to go about selecting their color palette. We ask a few key questions around, are there colors we should stay away from? Are there colors that resonate with your brand or just have a deeper meaning for you? And oftentimes I'm met with the same answer, which is my favorite color is pink, or my favorite color is yellow, which in my case it is. And it can sometimes feel like most people aren't prepared or aren't aware of the psychology and really the importance of your brand color palette. So let's kind of break that down. When you want to determine your brand color palette, it can't be the first thing you do. Oftentimes, people come to us and it's, I want a logo, I want these colors, and this is what I want it to look like. But you're doing that before we actually understand your brand identity, because the visuals are just one element of your overall brand identity. So let's talk about understanding your brand identity, because your color palette is crucial to the values, the emotions, the messaging that you want to convey with your actual brand. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean? It's just colors. It's so much more than that. So when you think of color psychology, because before you select your color palette, the first thing is you want to understand your brand identity. Item number 2 is your color psychology. Now, whenever you go to hospitals and things of that nature, you'll notice there's a lot of blues, warmer tones, cooler tones, because of the fact that it keeps people in a Zen state of mind. I wish I could remember the name of the study, and we'll probably link it below. But there was a study that was done many moons ago where it was this color that was like a minty green almost. And it had this initial euphoric state that it would cause. So it would first kind of keep you really calm. And so they started painting hospitals, nurseries. They even started painting mental institutions this color. Well, what they didn't realize is long-term exposure to that color also caused people to be erratic, upset, depressed, all these things. And so as they learned this, of course, they now had to reverse that. It's the same concept. Color psychology is a really big thing. This is why when you think of your home, you'll hear they'll say your bedroom should be more cooler, relaxed tones. You don't want fiery reds and fiery pinks. And it's not saying that you can't do it, because you're more than welcome to it. Oh wait, I just rhymed. But at the same token, you want to make sure that you don't have a situation to where your colors are contradictory to the emotions and the values that you have at your company. So think through and look at the color psychology. Reds are fiery, anger, passion, whereas blues are trust, relaxation, warm, welcoming. And so you want to ask yourself, what are the emotions? And this is one of the things that we ask any brand before we get started working with you, is what are the emotions that you want your audience to feel when they think of your brand? Not when they see it, but when they think of your brand, because then it resonates that, okay, here are some of the colors that we want to think about. So item number 1 was understanding your brand identity. What are those feelings, those emotions? Because it ties into the other elements. Item number 2 was color psychology. What are the emotions that the colors evoke? And then kind of pairing that to the emotions that you want your brand to actually convey in your audience. Next up is consistency across platforms. Now, I understand that it's very easy to be like, okay, today I like this color, tomorrow I like this one, Facebook can be that color, Instagram can be this color, but that doesn't create cohesiveness. So you need to make sure when you're selecting your brand color that you're creating consistency across all digital assets, because you want it to be that when you think of that brand, they can see it. Like, that's the whole premise of brand identity, and that's what your color palette goes into. Like, I want people, when they think of Adode Media, they should think vibrant. They should think innovative. They should think illustrations, because those are the things that you see across all of our social platforms, on our website, and our marketing materials. We are reinforcing the experience. I think of it the same way as when you think of, now this might be something super specific to me because I went to a perfume making class, but when you think of reinforcing scents, they talk about like, oh, the reason why when we wash with a detergent that already has a scent to it, then you put a scent thing in it, then you put perfume on, you've now created a scent that is specific to you. So sometimes before you even walk into a room, your scent precedes you. And so if that scent precedes you, people know, oh, such and such is on their way in. It's the same concept with your brand. They should be able to know that this is your brand before they ever see the logo. And that's the whole premise of that color and having cohesiveness. Cohesiveness and consistency across the board. Now, the next portion is accessibility and versatility. Now, I think in a world that is made for able-bodied people, it is very easy to forget that there's an element of accessibility that needs to go into selecting your colors. Meaning, if you go for neon pink and neon yellow and then try to put those together, it can be very clashing and difficult for people who may not be able to see well. And so that's where your ADA compliance comes into play, and making sure that your brand is accessible for all. And it's hard to do that on your own. So that's why in those instances, there's tools that you can utilize that will scan your website, and we'll actually place the link below. But there's tools that will scan your website to be able to see, okay, in scanning this website, is the fonts, is the color, are the sizing accessible for the audience? And so you want to make sure that you have colors that have variations to it. So this is when you have primary colors, your accent colors. It also goes into what are your keyframe colors? So if you have a neon yellow, you need to have something that's a little bit more toned down. It could be a hunter green. And so it's developing those versatility elements so that this way you can place it in different places. Like if you go to Gen Z with your design or your logo and your color palette, then if you decide down the line that you want to start promoting your content or having more information and interacting with more professionals on things like LinkedIn, it may not resonate with that audience. And so it's very important that you create varying layers to your actual colors. It should never just be two. Your color palette should always probably entail anywhere from 4 to 5 different colors. Last but not least is testing and refining. So when selecting your color palette, it's okay to change your mind. Like I've said in previous videos, our brand design has gone through 3 different massive changes. And you'll see, like at one point we started off and we were more of like this boho, plants and natural and all of these things in a burgundy look. Then in time I thought, okay, wait, we need to be a little bit more professional. We went with black, white, and gold. And then I didn't see myself in those colors or in that brand. And then we got here. It's a good mixture of functionality, professionalism, as well as design. And that's the thing. You should allow your brand color palette as well as yourself to evolve with you. As your brand evolves, as you as the creator, you as the business owner, as you change and evolve and grow, you have to make sure you give yourself and your brand that leeway, and having a staple color palette to where if you decide you want to go bolder, it could be just moving the colors down, or you could do like what I did and completely revamp all of our color assets and everything else in between. If you're in a stage in your business where you realize, you know what, I do need a little bit more support in developing my brand and fleshing all of this out, because everything from my brand voice to my brand color palette, my website, my logo, I need some support with that. Go ahead and reach out to us here in Adode Media. We are a full service creative agency helping brands of all sizes with everything from podcast production, branding and design, and digital marketing. So head over to adodemedia.com, and we can't wait to see how we can work with you.